take care of our own wireless families. So we decided to do college scholarships for our wireless families from the proceeds of the South Wireless Summit. To date, we've given over 250 college scholarships to our kids, almost $1 million. And today we have a very special treat. Heather was one of our first recipients. She was a 4.0 student at the University of Alabama while being a cheerleader, which is quite a feat. Maintained a 4.0 the whole 4 years. And not surprisingly, she got in medical school at the Quillen School of Medicine at ETSU up in Johnson City, Tennessee. She's going to be our first medical school graduate in May to go on and do her residency in surgery at the University of Oklahoma in Oklahoma City. Now Oklahoma is becoming an SEC school. She'll be able to cheer soon for her home Alabama and University of Tennessee schools when they come to Oklahoma City. But I would like Heather to come up and say a few words.
Hey everyone, I'm Heather Grubbs, as he said, and my dad is Jim Grubbs. He's the owner of Integrity Management. And for the last 8 years, I have received quarterly emails reminding me to apply for these scholarships and making sure I didn't miss any deadlines, and I so appreciate that. But I'm just going to tell you a little bit about myself and sort of put a face behind where all this scholarship money is going. So I was born in Knoxville, Tennessee, raised there. As he said, went to the University of Alabama for undergrad, where I majored in finance and economics, and also, as he said, cheered. I spent my Saturdays on sidelines with arguably the greatest football team in the country. Roll Tide. Any Alabama fans? But the University of Alabama prepared me both professionally and personally for the pursuit of medical school. I was part of an athletic department that sets a standard of excellence every single day. I was taught time management when I was studying for exams at halftime of SEC football games. I also learned teamwork from my teammates and coaches that got me through those 4 years of tough practices together. I always knew I wanted to go into medicine and applied straight out of college and went to Johnson City, Tennessee, and at East Tennessee State University, Quillen College of Medicine, and that's where I've been for the last 4 years. I couldn't stay away from cheerleading. I lasted about 2 months before they asked me to coach the undergraduate team there, so I've sort of got to keep my foot in that and learn how to coach what I had done my whole life. I also led Young Life there and love my high schoolers to death, and they actually come back later when I talk about some of the essays I've written for this. But I think that everything leading up to that point prepared me to choose what my career path would be. I fell in love with general surgery, and when looking back, I had coaches who set a standard of excellence for me. I had teammates who taught me how to give and receive constructive criticism in an environment of encouragement and shared perspectives. I also learned how to coach, which is way harder than participating, but taught me a lot, and all of that prepared me for a future in the operating room. And so this past fall, I applied for a general surgery residency position and was granted that last Friday at the University of Oklahoma. And I'll spend my next 5 years there training in general surgery, and then we'll see where I end up after that. But I'll graduate in May, and on July 1st, I'll walk into my first patient room and introduce myself as Dr. Grubbs, which is wild. But thank you. Thank y'all. But I've spent 8 years writing essays for these scholarships, and in those 8 years, I've learned a lot about an industry that means a lot to my family. I have written essays on the decline of landlines to cell phones. I've written essays on the impact of cell phones on in-person communication, but what's cool is that I've gotten to see how that's played out in my life. I've gotten to talk to Dad about the landlines and things that I don't know too much about, but I've also gotten to see in my high schoolers that I lead with Young Life of how their cell phones impact their communication and social media and things like that. And so it's been cool to reflect on how this industry has impacted my life as well, even though it's not necessarily my own wheelhouse. So even though I'm no longer applying for these scholarships after May, I think I will stay very up to date with this industry as my dad and sister try to keep me involved at the dinner table. But I would like to take the opportunity to thank Steve and the committee for sponsoring this for the last 8 years. I'm where I'm at because of the people that have supported me along the way, and you guys have played an important part in that. And I couldn't be more thankful, and thankful to you guys for being a part of this this conference and the committee and everything like that that has gotten me here today. So thank y'all so much. I appreciate y'all.
As a legacy medical family, my dad was a doctor for 50 years. I know how important this device is to a doctor. So the South Wireless Summit bought you the best one I could find and a case. So I hope you wear it proudly in Oklahoma City and think of us every time you listen to a special heart in your practice.
Thank you so much.